Welcome to IAH 241E, Creativity and Social Entrepreneurship. I'm going to assume that at this point you've watched the course overview video posted to D2L and you've reviewed the class syllabus also posted to D2L. If you haven't done so yet, I'd suggest you pause this video, head back, do that, then come back to this video. In this video, I focus on our week 1 work and the project 1 assignment. The focus of week 1 is on what is social entrepreneurship. I'm going to start by talking a bit about MSU's entrepreneurial ecosystem after I introduce this week's readings, cases, and sparks. If you look in the week 1 folder on D2L, you'll see we're going to read first a chapter that offers a great discussion of social entrepreneurship and social enterprise. The next reading is to choose 2 TED Talks about social entrepreneurship, and I've posted links to sites that offer a handful. I think there's 15 different videos you can watch. Those are our 2 readings for the week. Next, we have a case, and it's a homegrown MSU example of social entrepreneurship. I provided links to a couple of short pieces about students who have created a jaundice treatment blanket. Along with the readings and the case, we have 2 sparks. The first is a list of 22 awesome social entrepreneurial ideas, and the second is the 2020 30 Under 30 Forbes Social Entrepreneurs List. Before I provide an overview of our Project 1 work, I want to talk a bit about the entrepreneurial culture at MSU and how the College of Arts and Letters specifically is contributing to the social entrepreneurial ecosystem. In May 2014, our past provost brought together about 60 staff and faculty members to talk about entrepreneurship at MSU. At the time, MSU had a lot of exciting entrepreneurial initiatives going on, but they were happening in different units and different departments, and we didn't have a core home for entrepreneurial activities at the university. After this big group meeting, a smaller group of about 10 of us met during that summer to talk about how we could build a core home for entrepreneurial work. We came up with a set of goals and aspects that would set MSU apart from what other schools were doing with entrepreneurial education and support. We decided we needed to rally university-wide resources engaged in entrepreneurial activities. Second, we developed and proposed a university-level minor in entrepreneurship that launched in fall 2016. Third, we developed experiences as part of the minor, which allows students to pursue and get recognized for entrepreneurial projects. Fourth, we argued that every college should have an E-advisor, an academic advisor, available to specifically work with students on their entrepreneurial interests. Fifth, we created an E-Core for community-based learning and projects. Entrepreneurship can't just happen on campus. It needs to happen across campus, communities, cities, and more. We suggested the development of a university-level board to oversee entrepreneurial projects and activities. We also suggested that MSU work with K-12 stakeholders and get middle and high school teachers and kids involved. And finally, recognizing that students can't be entrepreneurs just by taking a couple of classes, we suggested a huge range of co-curricular projects and opportunities. So that was the larger university broad perspective. My next step was to convince faculty in my college, Arts and Letters, the college that hosts IAH courses, that the humanities are important to entrepreneurship. A lot of humanities faculty have an old school notion that entrepreneurship happens only in business and it's always and only anchored to capitalistic practices. I argued, however, that we have a strong role to play where social and cultural and entrepreneurship is concerned. I describe social and cultural entrepreneurship to my colleagues as ways in which we can pursue innovative solutions to social problems, especially what we call wicked problems. Wicked problems are issues like poverty and obesity. No one field or profession can address these alone. We have to work together to help address them. I anchored social and cultural entrepreneurship to art and storytelling and contributions to creative and cultural economies. And we'll talk more next week about social and cultural entrepreneurship. And of course, you'll be researching and presenting your own definition of social entrepreneurship in your Project 1 work, which we'll talk about in just a minute. I shared with faculty examples from our College of Humanities students already engaged in entrepreneurial work, like Kalia Stapleton. She's since graduated, but in 2014, she was a senior in apparel and textile design and working to develop clothing lines for women transitioning from college to corporate life. Literally one day you're shuffling to class in yoga pants and a sweatshirt, and the next day you're expected to be wearing a blouse, dress pants, dress shoes. That's a huge economic and cultural shift. I also talked about Phil Deaton and Ian Michael Terry, who are both undergrads in 2014 and doing some internal intrapreneurial work to change people's ideas and practices of web accessibility by doing consulting with departments on campus. The work they did back then helped to make it so spaces like D2L are potentially equitable learning spaces for all students, including students who might have hearing or sight-related issues. University-wide, over the past 7 years, we've created an entrepreneurship and innovation hub on campus with offices in the Broad Business Complex and a website that helps connect entrepreneurs at MSU and beyond. This past semester, the entire Entrepreneurship and Innovation Initiative became the Burgess Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. I had the opportunity about a year ago to meet online with some of the Burgess family to talk about what the Institute will be doing and offering and becoming in the coming years. The Entrepreneurship and Innovation minor, which is open to all students and all majors, is part of the Burgess Institute. And as of this past spring, more than 600 students were part of the minor, making it one of the largest minors on campus. In the initiative, there's support for students to model a business and find support in all the steps of imagining, developing, planning, and launching a business. And one of the best new sources of support for doing so is the Discovery Program, which offers workshops and one-on-one support. The next step is the Launch Program, where students move from discovery and development into specific support and seed funding and launching their businesses or nonprofits or social enterprise. The Burgess Institute supports the Innovate State Speaker Series, which invites successful Spartan entrepreneurs to share their experiences. You can view some of the speakers' talks recorded online and listen to podcasts with speakers on the eShip website. Spartan-born entrepreneurship ventures are featured on the site, like Bright Bites, Lingco, Vade Nutrition, and the York Project. On the eShip site, you could read about alums like Alexa Jones, Benny Ebert-Zavos, Brittany Urich, Jeff Hall, Joshua Ogundu, and Malik Hall. There's a huge crew of people working through the Burgess Institute, and they're here to help you imagine, develop, and launch your ideas for a new business or a nonprofit. There's a student team that includes a web designer, user experience designer, communication support, along with graphic design and video expertise. I'm really excited this fall we'll be able to be together again and in some of the amazing entrepreneurial spaces on campus. The Gainer Entrepreneurship Lab is located in the Minskoff Pavilion in the business complex. The lab is home to the business model canvas workshops, the Discovery Program I mentioned, Startup Weekend, and Innovate State. There's also the Hatch, which is a 24/7 co-working space for students just north of campus off of Grand River. Of course, there's the MSU Startup Bus, refurbished by MSU entrepreneurs to provide sponsorship and transportation once we're moving around the state and the country safely again. You can read more about these events and projects and spaces on the MSU Burgess Institute website, and that's eship.msu.edu. One of the things you'll notice about MSU's entrepreneurial orientation is that we don't just want to cultivate and support students who go out and launch new businesses. We want to engage students in an entrepreneurial mindset. From my perspective, not just an entrepreneurial mindset, but a social good, social commitment, socially invested mindset. Bruce Bockenheimer, a professor of management and director of the Entrepreneurship Lab at Pace University, situates entrepreneurship as much broader than creating a new business. He says entrepreneurship is about a particular orientation of the world, focused on imagining new ways to solve problems and create value. At MSU, we anchor having an entrepreneurial mindset to attitudes, skills, and behaviors, including having initiative, being self-directed, taking smart risks, being flexible and adaptable, being creative and innovative, and more. Ken Chmusiak, director of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation minor, says that entrepreneurship is an orientation to the world. As you all might suspect, and some of you may believe yourselves, there's some hefty critiques of the concept of entrepreneurship, especially in the context of our larger corporate, capitalistic culture. Entrepreneurship is often associated with or stereotyped as being anchored to finance bros and young, aggressive, well-off white dudes. There's often a bootstraps mentality and an attitude of, well, anyone can be successful if they just work hard. I wish there was time to really dig into the historical and cultural economics at play in these stereotypes, but that'd be an entire class. It'd take at least 7 weeks to dig into these attitudes. But I do want to turn briefly to Chris Rock, who in 2009 said one of, I think, the most potent and powerful things about money in the United States. Chris Rock argued that brown and black people in America can be rich, but not wealthy. And his argument was that black people can make money, but being wealthy requires access to networks, literacies, capital, and connections that brown and black people in the U.S. have historically been deliberately disconnected from. His illustration was that Shaq is rich. The white man that signs his check is wealthy. This is changing, and I hope you'll head out into the world with not only an entrepreneurial mindset, but an orientation toward transforming systems of inequalities, systemic racism, and structural and social power that have historically and still prohibit women and brown and black people and others from entrepreneurial work. Having an entrepreneurial mindset isn't just related to launching a new business, and entrepreneurial thinking isn't just related to launching a new business. We also want to support students to make change within existing organizations, to engage creativity, innovation, and an entrepreneurial mindset in an existing organization or business, and this is called Intrapreneurship. One definition of intrapreneur situates entrepreneurs as employees within large organizations or companies who are provided freedom, time, and support to create new products, services, or systems. A great example related to this definition of intrapreneurship is Google. Google encourages employees to spend 20% of their work time thinking about projects and ideas that will benefit and innovate at Google. And Gmail was born this way. The system was imagined in 2001 and then launched in 2004. The problem that Gmail was addressing was no email product at the time had a good search feature built into it. And obviously, Google is a specialist in search features. And also, no other web-based email system allows users to save their mail. And Gmail launched with users having 1 gig of space to save their email. Another slightly different definition of entrepreneurship suggests that an entrepreneur is a person within an organization who uses entrepreneurial thinking and approaches to make change within the existing institution. This change might be a new product or idea or just a better way to do work inside or beyond the organization. Facebook is a good example of an organization that inspires entrepreneurship. Facebook regularly hosts in-house hackathons where employees are encouraged to devote a chunk of time, say 24 hours, to creating and prototyping a new idea or product. The awesome button was a Facebook hackathon idea, which became the like button. Last year, there were more than 4 million likes per minute. A socially engaged example of entrepreneurship is TJ DiCaprio's work at Microsoft. She launched a project where Microsoft units across the 100 countries where Microsoft does its work engage in reducing Microsoft's carbon emissions through an internal carbon fee. Each unit in the company has to be innovative in their use or they get assessed a fee. The fees are then invested in Microsoft's environmentally engaged initiatives, like supporting wind farms where their data operation centers are in China and India. So this week's focus is, what is social entrepreneurship? After watching this video, you'll want to spend time with the readings, cases, and sparks for the week and post a question and response on Packback by this Sunday, July 11th at midnight. I want to take a moment here to introduce Project 1, which is our first of 4 course projects, a website which is due next Sunday, July 18th at noon Eastern. The full assignment for Project 1 is linked from our class D2L if you head into content and in the assignments and Dropboxes folder. Because I'm asking you to create a website, I created a small website for the assignment. On the page you'll create, you'll have 3 pages, a page where you introduce yourself, a page where you offer a definition of social entrepreneurship, drawing on at least 3 sources from class and your own research beyond class, and a page where you describe an example of social entrepreneurship in your field or discipline. There are lots of details and tips here on the website, including the assignment overview, the assignment goals, details about the specific requirements, and some technical considerations. I've also included an examples area of the assignment site where you can see example biography statements, example definitions, and some great examples of entrepreneurship in students' fields or disciplines. These examples aren't necessarily templates, but take a look at them. They're helpful models for what you might produce. A few important considerations for Project 1. First, don't just copy and paste quotes and examples into your website. Explain and situate the work that you're including, as you can see in the excellent examples linked from our assignment site. Second, start with this week's readings and materials. Summarize chunks of the readings you found important or include examples from the readings on your Project 1 website. Draw on the week's readings and materials for definitions and examples, and then do some additional research if you need to. Finally, I know some of you maybe haven't created a web page before, and that's okay. This class is a place to play, explore, and experiment. And there are some suggestions for getting started and some tools you might use on the Project 1 assignment linked from D2L. And importantly too, you should not have to pay to create the website for your Project 1 assignment. There are links in the assignment itself to some free places where you can create and post and publish your own website. Please email or text me if you have any questions at all about class, about our week 1 work, or about getting started on Project 1. We'll work on Project 1 this week and next, and the URL to your website is due uploaded to D2L by noon on Sunday, July 18th. And next week, I'll share with you the grading rubric I'm going to use to review and grade your work, so you have a sense of what I'm looking for out of the assignment. Happy week 1!